Have you ever thought about this? What if your mind is not your thoughts or your emotions, but a factory that keeps producing them? Today we're going to look at how that factory works and explore a new way to understand ourselves. So let's start with this question. Are all your memories really stored only in your brain? Most people would say, of course. But what if that's not true? Let's step outside the brain for a moment and look for the answer. Let's explore what the body remembers. Here's a story. A pianist had dementia. He couldn't even recognize a piano. But something amazing happened. When someone gently placed his hands on the keys, he suddenly played a very complex piece perfectly. His mind forgot, but his fingers, his muscles, and his whole body remembered the music. This actually happens to all of us. When you're walking and a car suddenly comes toward you, you don't think, I should move. Your body moves first, before you even realize it. You avoid danger before you even think. And here's the interesting part. It's about the order. Your body reacts first, and then your brain understands. First, the body moves to survive, and then the brain understands what happened. Wow, that was close. This is what we call body memory. Even if your brain doesn't remember, your body still does. Your muscles and your nerves hold the experience. In a way, the body is the original place where memory is stored, and the brain organizes it later. So if memory is not only in the brain but in the whole body, what does that mean for the mind? Let's go a little deeper. When we say, my mind is overwhelmed or my heart hurts, are the mind, thoughts, and emotions really the same thing? This is where a common mistake happens. We think thoughts and emotions are the mind itself, but they are not the same. Let me show you a simple example. Your mind is like a big bakery factory. The building and the machines are your mind, and the bread represents your thoughts and emotions. Here's the key point. The bread is not the factory. Thoughts and emotions are just products, and they are not your mind. Why is this important? Because it changes how we see suffering. When we say, my mind hurts, the mind itself is not hurting. What hurts is the product, the painful emotion itself. So, it is your emotion that creates the pain. The structure of the mind is neutral, and it's not trying to hurt you. It simply takes in information and produces thoughts and emotions. But then we ask, how does this neutral system create joy sometimes and suffering at other times? The answer is simple. Labeling. When something happens, your mind quickly adds a label. This is good. That is bad. This is painful. Everything begins in that moment. This automatic labeling turns neutral events into attachment and suffering. When something feels good, you try to keep it. When something feels bad, you try to avoid it. And that creates suffering. So now the question is, what can we do about this system inside us? Here, we need to change how we think about learning. There are two ways to learn. One is adding knowledge, learning more information. The other is different. It is watching your automatic reactions and letting them go. One builds knowledge, and the other reduces attachment. And attachment is the root of suffering. Here's the key. The goal is not to stop the factory, because that's impossible. What we can do is notice what is happening, notice what is being made on the conveyor belt, and notice the labels being attached. That's it. Real power does not come from stopping the machine. It comes from choosing not to believe everything it produces. Just because a piece of bread comes out doesn't mean it is the truth. Understanding this means taking back control of your mind. When you understand how your mind works, you are no longer controlled by every thought and emotion. And in the end, everything comes back to one question. Right now, what is your mind producing? And instead of believing it, can you step back and simply observe it? Can you feel that kind of freedom?